getting connected to this community is so rewarding.
Steamboat as a community is so special and so unique in so many ways, and I think the Community Foundation is a big piece of that.
So the generosity of the people who live here or who have second homes here or just want to help, it blows my mind.
Welcome back to Steamboat Real Estate and Investing, your inside track to real estate, mountain living, and intelligent investing here in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Happy holidays, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and hopefully you're looking forward to the holidays ahead. In the season of giving and reflection, I wanted to have on a special guest today. We'll be speaking with Traci Hiatt from the Yampa Valley Community Foundation, an organization who does incredible work here in Routt County and in Moffat County. I hope that you learn more about what they do and hopefully find some opportunities for yourself to donate and give back to this wonderful place that many of us call home or enjoy spending quite a bit of time in. That said, let's jump straight into the podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Steamboat Real Estate and Investing. I'm super excited about today's episode. I am joined by Traci Hiatt, who's the Director of Philanthropy at the Yampa Valley Community Foundation. How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining me today.
Good to join you.
For those of you who don't know, Yampa Valley Community Foundation does a lot of incredible work here in Routt and Moffat County. I'm going to use my cheat sheet. I'm going to read you the vision, the mission, and run through some stats. And then, of course, we're going to hear all of the great activity and happenings from Traci here today. So the foundation's mission is leading transformational change throughout the Yampa Valley by engaging donors in purposeful philanthropy, empowering local nonprofit organizations, inspiring impactful grant making, and collaborating to build vibrant communities with a mission of a thriving and connected Yampa Valley where there are opportunities and resources for all. Some of the very impressive stats include for 2025 so far, 11 million in grants dispersed year to date, over 1,000 grants dispersed to over 250 organizations, 130 donor advised funds, and over $500,000 in scholarships to local students. Those are some impressive numbers.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the work that you guys do.
Yeah, we're proud of what we do, and I love going to work every day. So
that's incredible. Well, those are some great stats to start with. For listeners who are not familiar with the work that you do or vaguely familiar, can you just kind of give us a rundown on, what is the day in, day out, and how are you moving the needle here in Routt and Moffat County? Yeah.
I mean, if I could back up, so the Community Foundation has been in existence for a little over 40 years, or actually we're approaching 50 years. It was formed, it was initially the Yampa Valley Foundation, formed to save what is now CMC, which at that time was called Yampa Valley College, which was in financial distress.
Okay.
So a group of people got together to save the college, which is why we still have the college here on the hill overlooking downtown. And once they did that, the community recognized the value and the power of philanthropy and getting people together behind a cause that benefits the community, and kind of took off from there. The Community Foundation has been through an evolution over that time, growing, developing relationships, building trust with our nonprofit partners, learning all along the way. And so we're really proud of where we are now and where we came from. Our work, if you think about our work in 4 different pillars, that's the best way to think about kind of what goes on day to day. One pillar is meaningful grant making, or impactful grant making, I should say. And that's, we make grants out of the funds that we hold. We hold about $110 million in assets at this point, which has grown substantially over the last 6 years. The stock market hasn't hurt. I mean, it's been helpful for sure. But so we hold $110 million in assets, the large majority of which, 98% of which are not our money. We hold that on behalf of others. So on behalf of nonprofits, donors, families, organizations, and that money is entrusted to us. We invest that money with a management firm so it can grow over the long term. And then that money is used to create social impact through grants. So a lot of it is donor directed, which is what a donor advised fund is. So our impactful grant making is largely done through our donor advised funds. So that's one pillar, and I can dive farther into that. The second pillar is meaningful philanthropy, which is a lot of the work that I do, which is meeting people, talking to people about ways that they can connect with the community. Actually, your audience is probably a lot of these people, or people who might be interested in this. So the best way to connect with a community and to feel like you're part of a community,
Yes.
or one of the best ways, aside from getting involved in, clubs or recreation groups or whatever, is really getting involved with the nonprofit sector.
Yes.
Volunteering time, using the resources that you have and the talent, or for a lot of people, financial resources to have an impact. And what we do is help people find ways to do that, to connect to the nonprofit sector in ways that align with their personal passions and interests, and to make that more meaningful. So anybody can write a check to a nonprofit, and that's always appreciated. But for the donor, for the person who's doing the giving, it's so much more meaningful if they understand the impact of that gift.
Absolutely.
And especially in a small community, you can see it.
Yes.
You can see how it makes a difference. So it's really rewarding, especially in a smaller community, to get involved. So that's the meaningful philanthropy work.
Can we pause there
Yeah.
and dig in on that a little bit and
Yeah.
come back to 3 and 4? I mean, I think that is one of the big reasons that I thought it would be great to connect with you this time of year. I feel like so many people and families are kind of reflected this time of year and make time to give back. And it's amazing that you guys facilitate that and can kind of make that that match for people, and pairing them up with the right organization that aligns with their interests, passions, what they really care about. Going down that path, what's the best way for people to engage with you? To give that time? If over the next few weeks, somebody has time, is that something you can help facilitate?
Yeah. That's a lot of the work that we're doing right now. Is when you call our office, a real person answers the phone. We have a small staff of 8 people, super friendly, and we are there basically to help people and to help nonprofits. So that's another piece of our work. But people can engage with us, and I'm talking to people every day right now. I just had a meeting this morning with someone who said, I've got some money I want to give away by the end of the year. I need help figuring out the most impactful place to put that. And, I could give a generic answer and say, oh, well, here's a list of nonprofits. But what I wanted to do was spend 15, 20 minutes talking to them and saying, well, what's important to you? What have you been involved with in other communities? What are the areas that really matter and to you? And we were able to identify, out of over 100 nonprofits in the Yampa Valley, 3 or 4 that really honed in on this person's interest.
That's
and
great.
Within those 3 or 4 nonprofits, I was aware of a couple very specific funding needs, where I could direct them, and I can provide additional information or connect them with the leaders of those organizations if donors want that personal connection to the nonprofit. A lot of people want to stay anonymous. We also facilitate anonymity through giving, where people can kind of we're like the buffer between the person and the organization. So it's having a conversation. It's getting to know someone, and then using our expertise, because the third pillar is nonprofit support. So we're connected. We're the local nonprofit experts. We know all of the nonprofits. None of them are under our umbrella. That's kind of a misconception, but we work with all of them. We know them. We're friends with their leadership. We know the needs that they have, in terms of specific funding. Like, it might be a $5,000 need. It might be a $200 need. It might be a $100,000 need. But we're aware of all of that, and we can help point people in the right direction, where if they are going to write a check or make a donation, they can really understand how that's going to have an impact in the community.
Okay. And then the 4th pillar?
The 4th pillar is community building. So it's sort of where all of that comes together. But really, it's about addressing larger community issues that can't be solved by a single nonprofit or sector alone. Things like affordable housing and mental health. We're really diving in on those 2 initiatives as a foundation, taking a leadership role in convening, bringing together private enterprise, government, and nonprofit to figure out how can there be collaboration and partnership to move the needle on big issues like that. Childcare is another one. Recreation. There's a lot of big recreation dreams out there that we want to help facilitate. And let's see, we had affordable housing, childcare, mental health, food security is a big one. And hold on. There's another one. I don't know. I can't think of it at this point. But there's some big community issues, right? Transportation. So when we talk about the Yampa Valley, there are these large scale issues that really require, some leadership in bringing together different partners. So we can be that convening partner. And we've seen some success in that work. And we're doing, like I said, we're moving the needle on mental health right now through collaboration with a bunch of nonprofits who are doing the direct service work, the really important work, but bringing them together to have conversations and figure out, okay, where are there gaps and how can we put some funding together along with assistance from government entities and things like that to start to really move the needle on those big community issues.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it sounds like, and I certainly don't want to oversimplify the complex work that you do, but in essence, it sounds like in many ways you guys are a facilitator, a matchmaker, a conduit, bringing all of the various pieces from the donors to the grassroots nonprofits together to maximize impact, efficiency, and awareness. Is that kind of a fair way to aggregate?
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it. Yeah, and we, our goal is to provide leadership in that space.
Yes.
And to be, if you think of the nonprofit sector as, a really important leg on the three-legged stool of any community, that we're kind of the hub on that wheel, where we try to help keep things moving along. Yes. Help nonprofits be better small businesses because each of them are their own small business. And so that's the nonprofit side of things that we do a lot of training, consulting for, we don't charge nonprofits for our services at all. Yeah, we're just amazing. There as a resource for the 100 plus nonprofits that we serve. So
yeah. That's incredible. I mean, it sounds like you guys are bringing a high level of sophistication to the nonprofit space and, also providing a platform for these donors to effectively deploy their dollars. And of course, that can be part of somebody's tax planning strategy, and what better way to optimize your tax planning by giving.
Oh, yeah. Yep, exactly. And everybody has something to give, right? So philanthropy is not for just the wealthy who can write big checks. There is a need and room for everyone to give back. And I mean, I have this dream that every single person in our community would be connected to a nonprofit in some sort of service aspect, whether that's volunteering their time, serving on a committee or board, just going out and, planting trees with the Western Resilience Center, which used to be Yampa Valley Sustainability Council, or, doing river cleanup with Friends of the Yampa. I mean, there's so many ways to get connected, but philanthropy, in terms of resources, financial resources are one tool that people can use to create impact in their community and to get connected to their community. And for people who have financial resources, we can help identify not just places where they can invest those philanthropic dollars. And especially at year end, every nonprofit, if you ask about specific needs, I mean, yes, there are overarching community needs, but every nonprofit right now is trying to meet their operating budget. So every nonprofit has a need. And every nonprofit is going to be super grateful for any support that they can receive.
Anything and everything.
Yeah. So financial resources at the end of the year, plugging into those specific needs is one thing that we can help donors with. We can also help with some actual tools like a donor advised fund. So what that is a fund that a donor makes a one-time donation. They donate the money to the Yampa Valley Community Foundation. We create a fund within our accounting system, and the person gets to name that fund. So it could be the Ryan Cox Charitable Fund, or it could be, some obscure name if you want to remain anonymous. And then the donor gets the tax write-off for the entire amount of the donation at the time the donation is made. And then they retain advisory power over that fund to make grants to nonprofits over time. So there's no specified time by when the donor has to send that money out. It can go out in the next year. They could sit on it, let it grow, make some grants each year, but let the fund grow because we do invest the money. And so it can grow tax-free for that donor, and then that grows their pie of money that they have to donate. But they retain advisory power, and then we make those grants out to the nonprofit. So that's a huge piece of the $11 million that we've granted out this year is through donor-directed grants.
Yeah, and I mean, that's really interesting and nice in that, somebody can accommodate that donation, that tax planning component, but they don't have to rush. They can be thoughtful of the deployment of those dollars over time, make sure that it aligns with, of course, their, interests and passions, and also maximize, the effectiveness.
Yeah, and donor advised funds are a tool that are widely used and are available through like any major brokerage. Like
Yes.
Fidelity has them, Schwab has them, any, kind of major banking institution would offer a donor advised fund.
Okay.
It's great if someone gets to the end of the year and their tax accountant says, you really need some charitable donations, rather than scrambling to send out a bunch of checks.
Yes.
They can contact, an organization and say, I want to open a donor advised fund, make one donation, check that box, get the receipt, they're good to go. And then they can be thoughtful, like you said. The benefit of holding a donor advised fund at a local community foundation is that then they're not just kind of on their own to determine where those funds go. We really become a trusted advisor.
Absolutely.
And a friend to people. And we almost become like a partner in their life of their charitable giving. Then also it's like shopping local, because 100% of every donor advised fund is going to charge fees. Ours are nominal and super competitive with the large brokerages. But the fees stay here and support our local workforce and stay in our local economy. So the fees on our funds go to pay our staff salaries and go to help us make all this local impact. And then that kind of just stays in our local economy here. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. On that note, locally, I think what I know of the foundation and what I've read online, you guys are primarily or maybe exclusively operating in Routt County and Moffat County. Is that correct?
Yeah. Okay. So a community foundation is a term that's used for an institution that is generally identified by geographical boundaries.
Okay.
So there are some community foundations that are organized around a certain cause, perhaps, but most are geographic boundaries. Okay. So you have like northwestern Colorado or Telluride or Aspen or other areas. So ours is the Yampa Valley, and you can think of our geographic area. You said Routt Moffat Counties, which is correct. Basically, the Yampa River watershed is a good way to think of it. So we're from the headwaters in South Routt all the way west to Craig out, through Moffat County. And we are stretching into Rio Blanco County now because in the recent wildfires, we set up a disaster recovery fund, and we've been making some grants to support Rio Blanco County in the aftermath of the wildfires this summer.
Yeah, I was driving from Craig through Meeker to Rifle for the first time since this past summer. And yeah, it's amazing.
I haven't driven through.
Fire damage and scarring.
Yeah, so a lot of that funding has gone to support. There's kind of three buckets. One is direct assistance for those impacted who were evacuated, small business assistance for businesses that had to close in the peak of their summer season, and then agriculture and environmental restoration. So for ranchers or property owners who were impacted, and we expect that to continue into the spring and summer as runoff and things like that. So
problem kind of sustains into the near future. That was one of the questions I was going to ask. Is what's a tangible example where the foundation has intervened and helped prop up the community in a time of crisis? And that's a perfect example, isn't it, of a timely example?
Yep. The wildfires, disaster recovery. We actually partnered with United Way of the Yampa Valley on that. And so we've got, a partnership with them where they mobilize the volunteers and do a lot of the actual like on the ground work. And then we're the financial partner kind of organizing the grants on the backside. There are so many examples. Sure. That's a big one. But another cool thing that we've recently helped with is the Winter Sports Club has put together, this year they put together a program. It's a collaboration between Integrated Community, Boys and Girls Club, the school districts, SOS Outreach, the Steamboat Ski Area, to provide the opportunity for 54 low-income kids to access ski programming and snow sports programming. So it's Winter Sports Club programming or ski school, season-long equipment rentals, all the gear that they need, lift tickets, food for when they're on the mountain. And there was, a need for about $21,000 to offset the additional expenses on top of what Winter Sports Club's doing scholarships. The ski areas, doing some significant donations toward that. Christie Sports and Ski House did some great rentals, but there's these other costs. And so we were able to put together money from individual donors to meet that need. So that's another really cool, timely example of something that we've done.
And what a great collaboration across the entire community.
Yep.
Private businesses. That's fantastic.
Yeah. To provide access, to kids who wouldn't otherwise have it.
I love that.
Which is awesome.
And what a difference that will make in those kids' lives, right? Getting that mentorship and also just simply having fun.
And being able to do what they see the other kids doing and, financial constraints aren't a barrier then. And then they've got these rentals. They can go out and ski whenever they want. And then we see them out at Ski Free Sunday on Howison and with their families. And it's just,
I love it.
It's cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question that's probably near impossible for you to answer.
Okay.
So I'll lead in with an apology.
Okay.
And you can do your best to answer it. If you had to pinpoint one singular challenge that we're facing right now in the Steamboat watershed, in the entire area that you guys cover, with growth and change, government policy, all of those economic influencers, all the conditions, what do you think is I guess the single biggest threat to detracting from the incredible community that we do have?
Wow. That is a big question. There are two pieces to that. So one is what is one of the biggest challenges that we're facing as a community, and we are seeing the widening income gap as a pretty big challenge for many reasons. It relates back to housing, workforce retention, economic diversity, retaining the values of who we are as a community, which is families, people who work here, living where they want to live, whether that's here or in Hayden or Oak Creek or Craig, but being able to live where they want to live, that opportunity is fading. And along with that comes the challenge for meeting basic needs. So food security is becoming a bigger and bigger problem. Food insecurity is growing. There's about 15 to 20% of Routt County residents who don't have food security, which is surprising to many people.
It is surprising.
And in Moffat County, that number is about 40%. So, and Moffat County is important. I mean, they are our neighbors. We have a lot of shared values for what's important to all of us, which is the outdoors, core values of taking care of ourselves and our community, appreciation for nature and the people who make up our community. So while we have some stark differences, there's as many things that make us, similar as there are. So that's why we're always going to talk about Moffat County, and also about 30% of Moffat County residents commute to Steamboat and are our workforce. So it's important. But food security is an important one that we see growing, and basic needs. People having trouble meeting their housing expenses, people having trouble paying for heat and food. And
I mean, without those things, you don't really have much, right? You need those basic needs met to be.
I mean, if people are hungry, if kids are going to school hungry, they can't learn. If people don't know how they're going to pay for a roof over their heads, everything else trickles down from there.
Absolutely.
And so
you need that foundation to live a healthy life.
Yeah. And I think it's surprising to some people because looking out, we live in an idyllic place, and we are lucky and blessed to have what we have. And there are a lot of people that are just struggling to make ends meet. And not just make ends meet in the way of like, oh, shoot, I can't buy a new pair of skis this year. But really, we're not exactly sure how we're going to pay our rent next month. So there are a lot of agencies working collaboratively to make sure those needs are met, basic healthcare needs. So it all kind of comes together. And that's where the nonprofit sector really is that social safety net for our community to make sure that, if nothing else, that basic needs are met.
Yeah. That was a great answer. Very difficult question. And I will say that what was the percentage of food insecurity in Routt County? 15%?
It's 15. It's around 15, but it's growing.
That is surprising. Certainly surprising. So obviously a lot of challenges facing our community, and some of those same challenges we're seeing on a national level. But of course there are bright spots as well that I think people fail to talk about, and those are equally important in the overall conversation. And I know you guys are the source of many of those bright spots. So share with us, what are some of the bright spots out there right now as it pertains to housing needs, food insecurity, or just overall, in our community? What are some of the bright spots from your seat, from your perspective?
Yeah. I mean, really, the generosity of the community, the generosity of the people who live here or who, have second homes here or just want to help, it blows my mind. I was making some phone calls to nonprofits yesterday about some grants that are coming out and just had people in tears with gratitude. The level of compassion and empathy and the fact that we take care of each other here and we genuinely care about each other. I just see that in my work every day. I'm really lucky that I get to see the beautiful side of humanity through my work and through our work at the Community Foundation. So some bright spots, when the SNAP benefits were frozen because of the federal government shutdown, there was a need to make sure that people were fed. Our community rallied, and Routt County did an amazing job covering the delay for local Routt County residents. Moffat County, we were able to raise funding to provide grocery gift cards to the people who are SNAP benefit recipients there so that they could go to the grocery store during that 2-week period where the benefits were delayed. So that was really amazing to see, and a ton of gratitude from those folks, and especially, the elderly people or people who are homebound or kids, families, people who would have gone unfed. That was a huge bright spot.
Absolutely.
As we were talking about food security. And then there's also been a ton of work in mental health. So a lot of organizations collaborating together to, we had not a bright spot. We had 19 suicides in Routt and Moffat counties in 2024. And that there's been a lot of work being done, really important work, but that catalyzed people to say, what can we do now? There's some long-term visioning happening. There's some long-term planning. We're going to continue making progress collaboratively. But one thing that's going to be coming out at the beginning of January is the launch of the HOPE initiative, which is going to be a community-wide peer support resource, a warm line, not a hotline, but a warm line for people to call to just get connected to the local resources that are here, have someone to talk to if they're just having a bad day or if someone's feeling lonely and isolated. That can happen here. But that is a new program that's going to be launched through the Health Partnership, a local nonprofit. Okay. And I'm super excited to see that come to fruition. It's been an effort of over a year with a bunch of partners who really care about this and invested in it. So that's not, so many bright spots.
Yes.
There's a lot of good happening. Yeah. And the challenges make us rise up and rise that tide so that we can meet them.
Beautiful, beautiful. If people want to learn more about how they can make an impact or what you're doing, I would assume the website's the best place to go.
Yeah. Well, they can call our office.
Okay.
Actually, can I say one more bright spot?
Please.
So we do have some giving circles, which is a great way for people to connect. We have a women's giving circle, which this year has granted out almost, I think, over $170,000 to individuals in need. We don't make grants directly to individuals. Nonprofits apply for funding for individuals who are in crisis for things like purchase of a new water heater, or someone needs new tires on their car and they're living paycheck to paycheck and that's just not something they can afford. A nonprofit will apply to the Women's Giving Circle on behalf of this person anonymously. And then the Women's Giving Circle can fund these little needs throughout the community. And they have pieced together over $170,000 in individual needs just this year. Amazing. So the Women's Giving Circle is a great way to get involved. We have a couple other Giving Circle programs. The barrier to entry is really low. Women's Giving Circle is like $250 a year donation to the Community Foundation. We hold that in a fund that we don't charge fees on. Okay. So that's a bright spot. And so that's a way that people can engage. You can visit our website, yvcf.org, learn more about our work, or if you're not someone who likes to dig into a website and do all that, you can just give us a call. 970-879-8632, and you'll get connected to the right person, which might be me or might be one of my colleagues, but we're always happy to hear from new people, or even just stop by our office. We're located on Oak Street, 348 Oak Street, behind Wells Fargo, so between 3rd and 4th Street. It's that big white building. It looks like a house. It was built a couple years ago, and that's our permanent home, and our door is open, and we're happy to see visitors. So.
Perfect. And I assume no donation or gift is too small. Everything makes a difference.
Everything makes a difference. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Great. Well, I want to say thank you to you and the foundation and all the work that you guys have done. And on behalf of the community, thank you. I think we're super fortunate to have your leadership and passion and commitment.
Can you tell we like what we do?
I can tell. Traci, before we started, she said she has the best job in Steamboat and absolutely loves it. So there is no doubt that there is a lot of passion behind the cause, which is incredible. So I think Steamboat as a community is so special and so unique in so many ways. And I think the Community Foundation is a big piece of that. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Any kind of last comments or parting words or things that you think the listeners might be interested in this holiday season? Anything else that you'd like to convey?
I mean, really just reiterating the fact that getting connected to this community is so rewarding. And especially, again, in a small town, that you can really see the impact of your effort. So no matter what it is, we support nonprofits across all the sectors. So arts and culture, environment, recreation, education, health and human services, youth services, animals. I mean, whatever you're passionate about, there is something out there. And it doesn't take a lot of time either. So for people who are here part-time, there are ways to get engaged. For people who are here full-time, great, there's ways to get engaged. So reach out to us.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for your time. And we'll have to reconnect here in the future and check in on all the great work you guys are doing.
For sure.
All right. Thanks a lot.